Hi, this is Sergeant Beast Larson. I'm going to talk about planning. Inmates Plan. Got one of my favorite shirts on here. Hayes State Prison Tactical Squad. If you're going to interview for promotion, you're going to see this. The 5 P's. Prior planning prevents poor performance. Memorize that. You've got to know that for promotion for a FTO in Georgia Corrections. What does this mean? Prior planning prevents poor performance. This is what I want to talk about briefly. How is your officer survival planning? Do you have plan A, B, and C in place? Plan D. D and E on a test question, multiple choice, usually means all the above. In this instance, plan A might be a takedown. If this goes wrong in a search, if this goes wrong when they're on a fence, you're patting them down, they're walking to escort, maybe plan A is a takedown. Maybe plan A is your verbal attempt to de-escalate. Maybe plan B is a takedown to the ground. Maybe plan C is control on the ground. When all those go wrong, what's your next move? All the above move. How far ahead have you thought about this? I'm not going to show a bunch of videos, any videos at all. You've seen these. I just watched one last night. You know, local county jail, the inmate sucker punches the officer and they show it like it's a devastating thing. For people that have no idea what goes on in jails and prisons, it is devastating. For those of us who's worked there for many years, we know. Look at this page right here. This is what you need to know. Inmate attacks, they plan everything. Inmates plan food, they plan checkers, they plan music, they plan their rap, their tap on a door. They plan what's going to happen during shower. Meaning, are they going to pass something to another inmate? Inmates plan everything. Everything in great detail. They have nothing else to do but to sit there. So when you're an officer, whether you're in a prison or a jail, you need to realize as you're walking from door to door, you're signing door charts, you're checking, whatever you're doing, whatever your business is inside the dorm or around the inmate, they're planning. They've planned everything. They lay there and they daydream this. You need to know this. It's not spontaneous that they're attacking you. Even if they're on drugs, it's not spontaneous. Inmates plan. You have to have a plan. You go to the door. They're in a secure unit. You need to handcuff them. You open the flap. You know, the little door, little square door you feed through, whatever you want to call it in your state. What is your plan once that door opens? They can stand there and talk. They can put their hands out forward. You got to tell them, no, turn around, we cuff in the rear. So you got to have a plan for verbal direction. You have to have a plan, tell them to turn around. You have to have a plan if they reach out and try and grab you or hit you, which has happened, and I've talked about this in my how to write use of force reports, the inmates trying to punch me through the flap. You have to have a plan if they're trying to squirt something at you. You know, bodily fluids in a shampoo bottle, for instance. You've got to have plans. Prior planning prevents poor performance. If you get caught off guard, you're not planning. You're not doing the what if scenario. If you get stuff sprayed and squirted on you and you're shocked and surprised, you've not planned for this. Yes, it's going to happen. It's happened to me. And I know because I supervised in a behavior unit in Tier 1 and Tier 2. I knew the high likelihood of things being squirted or thrown on me or attacks coming towards me. So I had a plan and I was not shocked and I reacted to it. You know, plan A, B, and C, D. All the above. Everything's going crazy if you have to. Plan E. You've got to do this, folks. You've got to have this planning. If you're at the county and they come through and they're just doing basic booking, come over to do the fingerprints. You're thinking about, did I type the name in? Did I get this entered right? Now I've got to start with the right hand. I got to follow the prompter. You're concentrating on that computer way too much. Not paying attention at all to this person next to you that could be violent, could be drunk, could be on drugs. You're standing here looking, I'm turning, like you're typing like this, your body's already crooked and you're off balance. They're standing next to you. Well, your hands are like this, wham! You're an open target, you're not planning. Yeah, you may have to type. Learn how to do it with this hand and keep this hand empty. whatever side you're on. Learn how to do some stuff with one hand so your other hand is capable of blocks. Yeah, I use two hands. I'm coming off the keyboard and blocking with both hands. Why? Because I've done this for a long time. Are you planning this? You planning two hands? You planning how to handle this? What if they first come out of the police car and the police officer's with them, they're cuffed, and they come to you. Police officer's got a baggie or whatever he's got his property in that's in there, wallet, keys, anything like that to hand to you. Even though there's a police officer and a correction officer, I'm counting police and correction officer, two of you, that inmate has been in the backseat of that cruiser and he's planning at what moment, if he's going to attack, what moment to attack. Well, that's a pretty good moment. Even though the policeman's there, he's got to secure his firearm either in his car. A lot of times police put him in the front seat and lock him in the car. They don't want to go and do the lockbox. Or the officer gets out, he goes over, puts it in the lockbox, and the guy's sitting in the backseat of a cruiser like this and he's watching everything. He's planning. He may not act on it, but he's planning. Planning, acting. But so often they overlap. Planning and acting. What is your plan? How is your reaction going to be? Do not be reactive all the time. Don't wait till you get hit is what I'm saying. Don't wait till bad things happen all the time. When they've planned, counting on their fingers, when they planned and they've begun to take that step, they're handcuffed behind here, they step forward and their head's down and they're coming straight at your head. They're in action coming to headbutt you. They're getting closer. Do you want that inmate this close to you? I don't think so. I don't. I want them this far away. 4 to 6 feet reactionary gap. Okay? Reaction. Being proactive. No, we don't walk around and say, oh, hey, you're an inmate. I think you're going to hurt me and hit them. No, you have to wait and articulate their steps, their actions. They're handcuffed and their foot starts coming up. You like these boots? These 5'11" boots? How many people you arrest wear boots, work boots, any kind of boot? Heavy boots, steel-toed boots. Steel-toed boots, a good plan. You can be handcuffed, they can kick all day long. Remember, we've talked about this at great length last year. Inmates being aggressive in handcuffs. What is your plan? How are you reacting? You can react before your impact, before they hit you. React. You've got to have plan A, B, and C. Plan A almost always is your verbal de-escalation, verbal judo, as they say. So depending on what they're doing, you always, you've observed and you start talking. The sooner you observe and you start talking your plan A, you're decreasing the chances of using plan B or plan C. Takedowns, wall studs, put them on the wall, handcuffed to the wall. Whatever you need to do, pressure points. Nerve strikes, those things. We teach videos like this. We've got many videos that talk about this. SGT Beast Larson, hit the subscribe button, follow this. I have planned everything. And they say over planning. There's no such thing as over planning when you're in a law enforcement career, police and corrections. It's not over planning, it's being prepared for everything. Nothing wrong with that. Parents do this, they plan for everything. So have a good plan because the inmates are going to attack. Sitting on that cell, they know exactly at what moment they want to reach through that feed trap and hit you. Or if they're in general population, they know at what moment when everybody's out, 40 people are out, and you come walking in. The video I watched last night on TV, local correction officer sucker punch. There's people like little ants everywhere, the inmates like ants in this general population pod, the officers in the middle, doing this thing. And most likely, as an officer in a GP unit, you're going to be alone in there. And the officer, I'm going to use my hand, here's the officer and inmates around him talking over here like a little cluster. Answering a question, something would be normal. He wasn't using body language, arms weren't moving. He was just standing kind of arms down, having a conversation. And over here, okay, here's the officer and them. Here is the inmate. He comes walking, walks right up behind him, reaches around, pow, pops him right in the eye. Well, there's a couple things to think about. Number one, as you see, I'm close to the wall. You're officer and you walk into the door and keep the wall close to your back. Not standing exactly dead in the middle. You can't always help this. But if you're standing and talking, if you move, if they really want to ask you a question, you can move closer to the wall. Now you're aware that when you're over here, this takes away part of your escape route, your lateral movements to get away and get to the door. But don't always walk to the middle of your pod, your dorm, or the farthest away from the door. When you come in, they'll come over and address you. Stand where your back can be close and you're close to the door. That's a tactical conversation with the inmates. But how many videos? I've done reaction videos on officers being sucker punched, being caught off guard. We've talked about that. I've showed you those videos. We're not going to show them again right now. Did they have planning? Some yes, some no. One video, a young officer, he had planning. He definitely had some good planning. Sheriff's deputy, he was sitting at the console, and when the agitated inmate came over towards him, his body language changed, his positioning changed. He wasn't just going to react to somebody clocking him and sucker punching him. He turned so he was more directly in line with them to react. And when the inmate did try and strike, his hands were up to block. He was ready. He blocked, he countered, he went plan A, B, and C, and he protected himself. Very, very minor injury. You got to think. Planning, prior planning. Put stuff in your head. Distance, 4 to 6 feet reactionary gap. You got to keep that. Know what's behind you. Keep what's behind you safe. Keep what's to the sides of you and the front of you, your door, your escape route. Keep that in mind. Our dorms at Hayes had 2 doors. The door we came in that was buzzed in, the one in the back that was buzzed, a fire exit. But if there's an emergency, you call on a radio, get their attention, they'll hit the door and let you out. You shut the door and you'll be in the small yard, they call it, but you're out in a way and they can't get to you. You go out and shut the door real quick. Have your escape plan. Have a blocking plan. Have an action plan, verbal action, takedowns, whatever, anything you need to do standing up or getting to the ground to defend yourself, your blocks, down to the cuffing and securing of the inmate to stop this incident. You got to have this stuff in your mind. It's January 2021. 2020 was the most devastating year, not in my career because I wasn't actively involved in law enforcement other than teaching. But for the road officers being attacked, all the riots, the stuff going on all last summer and fall, in corrections, the riots, hostage situations, one of my friends taken hostage in Georgia. He's tax squad commander when I was on tax squad. Saw him every time we had a call out. Got promoted to captain. He was taken hostage and beaten, stabbed. The world became really violent in 2020. As 2021 comes along, I've spent last year doing a lot of videos. I continue the videos, the physical challenges. You work in a prison, do my push-up challenge. You've got to have upper body strength. Build that strength. Do the push-ups. Try these challenges. My goal, our goal, Team Beast, is to help improve you mentally, physically, your spirit. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about your motivation and drive, your will to survive. I just posted a picture last week. My buddy, Officer McGill, that got stabbed in the head and neck multiple times. He's still alive. Great picture on Facebook. Same place I'm going to post this too, of him happy, smiling, eating, sleeping better after 2 years. His will to survive is incredible. You've got to have this. So prior planning prevents poor performance. Performance meaning your observation skills, your communication skills. Communication is talking and listening. Improve on that. Improve on your observation, your communication, your physical skills. Improve on that in 2021. Hit the subscribe button. Like, share this. Follow Team Beast. Somebody asked me, I'm in conclusion here, they asked me, who's Team Beast? How come they're not on the video? Well, I've got a couple that help me do videos. I've got several. My wife is my biggest sponsor, my biggest partner in Team Beast, partner in life. We've been together 26 years. We talk about video topics. We talk about timing of things, producing things, what's important to accomplish in the video through demonstration and through talk, through my training and experiences. She's my biggest partner. She's not going to be on video, and that's for safety reasons. I've got friends that have 25, 35, 40 years experience in a business. I talk with them in consulting. They've not been instructors, but they've been in law enforcement. They've been in police and corrections for many years. We talk about topics and what's important, the message to convey. They don't have to be on video with me. You know, I answered that guy on Facebook. I said there's about 10 to 12 people. Can't tell you everything, can't tell you all of the business. I can't tell you where I live either, obviously. Prior planning prevents poor performance. I got a broke toe as a training injury, and that's it, teaching self-defense for 21 years. Wrestling with my wife, I got 2 black eyes, 3 kids. Prior planning. Inmates don't say prior planning prevents poor performance. Prior planning prevents aggressive action. Years ago when I was teaching in law enforcement before I retired police, the FBI statistics said 1%, this is in the 90s and the 2000s, up through 2008, 1% of the population actively want to hurt, assault, or kill a police officer. That's grown drastically in 2020. So you correction officers, you go into a dorm, 60 people. It's safe to say there's at least 2 that want to kill you at any moment. Many of them are doing life for murder. They're capable of it. They've done it before. They'll do it again. Know this. Know who's around you. They're killers. They're rapists, serial killers. They have no problem stealing money, stealing virtue, stealing life from people. And you're in there alone, or 2 of you, 60 of them, 100, 120-man pods. Think about that. 100-man pod, there's at least 5 people want to kill you. They wake up and say, I think I'm going to kill the officer today. That's their normal way of life. Know this. Think about this. Post some comments. If you had situations that's happened that you've been prepared for because of the 5 Ps, you were ahead of the game, it worked out great in your favor, post in a comment. Talk about it. Share with everybody else. Help the newer folks. Help those that are not planning as well as we are. Prior planning prevents poor performance. Oral interview board for sergeant lieutenant, they're going to ask that, and now you've got the answer, and you can better explain. Observation skills, communication skills, physically more prepared. See, I'm helping you out too. I want you to be promoted. I want you to become leaders, not followers. Lead this movement of officer survival with me. Thanks again. See you soon.